Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 677, Community Feedback, number 46. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the fine folks over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Head over to Weaver's Department Store and check it out. They got some great items over there, including Karen Knott's book, Tied Up in Knots, Me and My Dad. Definitely something you'd want to check out. You can even get an autographed version. Head over and check that out. And while you're there, maybe you want to play some games. The Mayberry Puzzle Book, Season 1. Folks loving that. So head over to Weaver's Department Store and check it out. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners just like you. The executive producer of episode number 677 is Mark Copeland. So thank you, Mark. I'm Alan Newsom, the host of Two Chairs No Waiting. It is a great pleasure to be here in Mayberry and just have some fun, laugh, smile, enjoy yourself. And tonight we're going to be having some community feedback. I usually call this listener feedback, but it's really a community. And I really believe that. It's the folks who listen to the podcast have been drawn together because of our love for the Andy Griffith Show. And it's really a community of websites. The Mayberry.com, Two Chairs No Waiting, of course, is part of that. And just so many websites, Mayberry Community. There's even a Facebook groups, right? Facebook groups for both Two Chairs No Waiting and the Andy Griffith Show Esquire Club that SpiritWalker has been talking about, and Randy Turner's as well. So, I mean, we have all kinds of different communities where you can go and check these things out. The Gomer and Goober Pile Comic Book Literary Guild is Randy's, in case you're wondering, on Facebook. So there's just so many communities related to the Andy Griffith Show, and this is all one big thing. And we're getting to hear from some of you guys that called in. Now, we want to apologize to some of these. They called in using SpeakPipe, which if you go to Two Chairs No Waiting website, if you go there, there is a link on the side of the page that it says leave a voicemail. And if you click it, it'll take you to SpeakPipe, and you can leave a voicemail. For some reason, I didn't get notified about messages that were getting put in there. And so I got kind of a backlog, and I have not been good about going in here and playing them back, but that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to hear from different people. So without me talking any more than I already have, let's go ahead and hear from Brian as our first voicemail.
Hey, Alan, this is Brian Shane, otherwise known as Mayberry Life, on the chat room on Monday nights. Hey, I was just wondering, as I'm listening to some of these interviews that you did back in '98, whether or not over the years at any of the events you've attended, you've been asked to have for you to cut someone's hair. I'm sure you have, and just wondering how often that happens. And then in relation to that, have you ever considered getting a barber's license so that you could actually cut someone's hair at any of these events? I can imagine the line would be pretty long. Love the show. Love all the content that you guys provide, and I'm really enjoying it so much. I'm going back through all the old episodes, so I'm up to episode 69 right now. But anyway, just wanted to call and say thank you for all you do, and thank you for the show, and look forward to hearing from you. Bye.
Well, Brian, thank you so much for taking time to call in and leave your message. And, well, I just wanted to say right now, I can cut hair. I can. Those are real scissors I have. Now, whether you want me to cut your hair, that is a whole different story. That's completely different. If you ask my wife, the answer is no, you do not. Because once she asked me to trim her bangs, and evidently, looking from standing up, looking down, I trimmed them a little bit high. So she had a little bit short bangs. And I've never been able to do that again. So no, I don't actually ever cut anybody's hair. I very much try not to do that. But I have been asked. I've been asked that multiple times as whether I could really cut hair, and I really can cut hair. I don't know very many people that can't cut hair. If they have a pair of scissors, you can cut hair. Now, if you can cut hair well, that's entire different. That's different entire. I think so. Gomer said it. So, yeah, I have thought about that. In all honesty, I think cutting hair sounds like a lot of work, because you got to stand on your feet all day long. You're standing on your feet all day. It's all day long. Oh my goodness, that'd make you tired. Standing there, cutting the hair, and having to talk all that. Oh, that'd be tiring. So no, I haven't actually looked into it. It would probably be funny to do that. But if you need a buzz cut, I can put on a number 2 or 3 or 1 even, and just, I can take care of that though. No problem. Just let me at it. Okay. All right. So thanks for calling in, Brian. So let's go hear from Eric and see what he has to say.
Good afternoon, Mr. Newsom. This is Eric Fouts in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I just want to let you know how much I appreciate your podcast. Born and raised in the Carolinas, currently living out here out west. So it's nice to always hear some of Mayberry this far away from North Carolina. I enjoyed your most recent episode where you had a question about, I think it was who kept Andy up at night, and the answer, of course, was Gomer. But if you remember, there's another episode where Uncle Ollie had spent the night with him, and because of his snoring, Andy didn't sleep all night then as well. So I just saw that episode on Pluto and wanted to leave that and on your voicemail. Thanks a lot, and keep up the good work. Bye.
Hey, that is very true, Eric. Good job. Thanks for calling in with that. Uncle Ollie kept him awake all night. And, of course, Uncle Ollie didn't sleep either. Not a wink, because he forgot his goose down pillow. So he didn't sleep any either. So, yeah, thanks for calling. Now, I don't remember what episode that was, and not remembering, I don't think Eric's call was from too long ago. Some of the calls we're fixing to get to were from quite a while back. And so I want to apologize to them for delaying so long and getting their voicemails in here. It wasn't on purpose. So, but yeah, thanks for that, Eric. And thanks for bringing that up. Cause yeah, some of the trivia questions, that's one of the hard things we always have at Mayberry Days is Ken Junkin, who kind of develops all the questions and puts them together. He has a hard time, or he has to make sure, I should say, that all the questions that we cover the answers correctly. Sometimes we have to be very specific about what episode it was in to make the answer be the only one that was in that particular episode, so that there won't be multiple correct answers, but from different episodes. Cause that does happen from time to time, and similar to this case. So thanks again, Eric. And, thanks for listening out there out west. So, all right, we're going to hear from Larry Granger. Now he called in. It's been a while since Larry called, but let's go ahead and hear from Larry.
Hello, Alan. This is Larry Granger calling. I just got around to listening to episode 631, and I'm hoping that Randy's soapbox is still there and still warm, because I want to stand on it and agree with you and him, especially about the issue of Warren Ferguson, and that it is not the problem of Jack Burns. Jack Burns was a great entertainer. My wife just the other night remarked how great of an actor he really is if you pay attention. And also the issue of color episodes. People sometimes will tell me they are fans of the Andy Griffith Show, but they only watch the black and white episodes. And I tell them that really you're a fan of 5/8 of the Andy Griffith Show, because there's 3 seasons you're missing out on. And while I agree that the removal or the missing of Don Knotts and the changing of a lot of writers caused the last 3 seasons to not be as good as the first 5, there's some great humor in those 3 seasons. I especially like Dinner at 8, one of my favorite episodes of all of them. So I would just say to Andy Griffith Show fans, to watch those color episodes, and you'll find some gold that you maybe didn't realize was really there. Thanks for the podcast, Alan. Have a good day.
Thank you, Larry. Excuse me. Thank you so much for calling in. And that was from episode number 631. That's what he was talking about. Top that. That's back in May of 2021. So it's been a while since he called. So I, again, apologized that it has been so long and I did not get back and get this played. But man, isn't he right? There are so many great color episodes as well. So I do want to encourage you guys to go out there and watch the color episodes. Turn the black and white on your TV. I don't care. There are some really good episodes, and in all honesty, all the color episodes are better than almost anything that's on TV now. It is a little different. I'll give you that. that the show is different because Barney's not there, but it's still so good. There's so many really good lines too during some of the color episodes. So go out there, and if you're one of those folks that only watch the black and white ones, go out there, turn the color off on your TV, and go and watch the color episodes, and just enjoy it. Try to find things that maybe I don't know, that you haven't noticed before. Okay. All right. So now this is another call or another voicemail that's coming in it's from a while back. I'm not even sure how long. Well, actually I am. This was from June of last year, June of 2021. So let's go and hear from Nipper of the Bud, and it's therapeutic. We'll hear from them.
Hey Floyd, this is Nipper of the Bud, and it's therapeutic. And we just wanted to say that we love your show very much. And you're the highlight of our Mondays after a long, hard day. And we're hoping to meet you at the Mayberry meetup for the first time, hopefully. So just wanted to say thank you for what you're doing and keeping Mayberry alive, and we appreciate it very much.
Don't change what you're doing, Floyd. We love you.
Wow. Thank you, guys. Thank you both very much. Wow. If I am your highlight of Monday nights, and now, folks, for you guys that don't know, we record the show live on Monday nights, and we have a chat room full of people that are visiting one another. There's about 40 people in there tonight, visiting and having a good time and talking. And so they called in with that voicemail a year ago, nearly. So sorry. And it really means a lot. I really do appreciate that. And it's always fun, too, at the Mayberry Meetup. Now, if you don't know about it, the Mayberry Meetup is coming up this year in July. And it's I'm trying to remember the date now. It's the 15th and 16th of July, right? Is that right? Yes, that is right. So it's in Mount Airy, North Carolina. And there are links and stuff in the Facebook group for Two Chairs No Waiting. So you can go there and click on the events, I believe is where it'll show it up as for you, maybe. Not really quite sure, but I'll check out. There's a link in our show notes every week. I'll guarantee you that much for the 10th annual Mayberry Meetup. So let me pull that up, make sure I'm getting you the right information. But if you haven't been, it's basically just a bunch of Mayberry fans that get together and enjoy each other's company. It's the 15th and 16th of July coming up. And so definitely think about coming to Mount Airy, and you can sign up. There's links. I'll have the link in the show notes. You can go and click and fill out the form to let me know you're coming. It gives a little bit of information as well. So you can definitely come and be a part of it and join in with a bunch of Mayberry fans. I'll send you a link that's got all kinds of information in there to try to get you going. But that's what they were talking about. We get together on Friday and Saturday night at the Mayberry Motor Inn and watch episodes of the Andy Griffith Show or something every night until it's time to go to bed. Everybody goes to bed, and that's usually about 10:30. We're not a very late crowd. So, but even before the episodes or videos or whatever we're showing starts, it's still a good time just to visit and sit around, and we have conversations, and it's just a lot of fun. So the Mayberry Meetup in Mount Airy, North Carolina at the Mayberry Motor Inn, it's held the 15th. That's a Friday and a Saturday in July, 2022. So it's every year. So it's not just this year. All right. So now let's move on to our next message. This is from Lydia. In our chat room. So let's hear from Lydia.
Hey, Alan, it's Rebecca Spears, Lydia from the chat room. I forgot to give you my Betty Lynn memory, so I was going to give you a Betty Lynn memory and also an answer to a question that's asked a lot in Facebook and other places, and I actually heard it from the horse's mouth. Betty Lynn is never seen in church, and the person in front of me in line actually asked her that question one year. Betty's answer was, well, the church was very Protestant looking, and I am a devout Catholic. It bothered my conscience to be seen in a Protestant looking church. So I asked Andy if I could not participate in those scenes because it bothered my conscience and my faith. Andy agreed, and she was never asked to be in church scenes anymore. So I thought that was kind of neat to hear it from her, why she was never in a church scene. And I never thought about that, but that was her reasoning. And she said Andy was gracious enough to not violate her conscience. So I thought that was really sweet. Betty will certainly be missed.
All right, well, Rebecca, thanks for calling in with that. You know, I had used that reasoning before, but I don't remember ever hearing it from Betty. So that's great information. I really do appreciate you sharing that, because that's what I had said before. People had asked me why Thelma Lou's never in church there. You don't see her there. And I'd always said, because Thelma Lou is Catholic. That's what I said. And that wasn't a Catholic church. And turns out that was Betty's reasoning too. So that's awesome. And it's also possible I had been told that before by her and don't remember. It is very possible. So thank you. We have it recorded now, so we can refer back to the tape. So thank you very much, Rebecca, for calling in with that information. All right. So we have one final caller, and I really enjoyed this one. I hope you do. And I think it it made me think a lot. So let's go ahead and hear from Myra.
My name is Myra Catherine, and I just finished watching The Mayberry Effect. I live in Chicago, and I thought the documentary was absolutely amazing. I love Andy Griffith because Andy Griffith reminds me of my father. My father was tall, handsome, Southern, very kind, just a very sweet man. He died almost 20 years ago, and it took me some time, a long time, before I was able to watch the Andy Griffith Show again because of the similarities. My favorite show of all time was with Mr. McBeevy, and how Barney wanted Andy to stop Opie from inventing things. And so finally Andy talks to Opie and tries to make him say that Mr. McBeevy doesn't exist. And finally, when Andy comes downstairs, Barney says, so what happened? You know, basically, I'm glad you didn't punish him, but are you saying you believe in Mr. McBeevy? And Andy says, no, but I do believe in Opie. And that's how my father was. I love the Andy Griffith Show. I loved the documentary. It was absolutely wonderful. And I'm African American. Please be safe and take care. Bye.
Wow. Thank you so much for calling in. That is a great, and I have heard that from other people before about Andy reminding them of their father or their grandfather. So that is a wonderful story. Now, if you guys have not seen The Mayberry Effect, it's available. You can watch it online. If you want to order a DVD version of it, you can get it at Weaver's. The DVD is available there. And I know you'd really enjoy it. And you heard how much she did. She enjoyed it so much. So, wow, I really do appreciate that voicemail. And I wrote her back because, you know, I didn't know until the very end of that voicemail that she was African American. But the Mayberry Effect, if you watch it, that's one of the things that kind of came up during it was some of the race issues that were going on during the time the Andy Griffith Show came on. And I thought Chris did an amazing job during the Mayberry Effect to acknowledge that, but not to overly dwell on it. And that's pretty much what I wrote back to Myra Catherine about it, because I feel like the Andy Griffith Show is for everybody. It doesn't matter what color or what, it doesn't matter. It's for everybody. Everybody that has the love of family and people. I think it's what it's for. It was never anything but that, in my opinion. So it's so nice. And I really do want to thank you, Myra Catherine. I sent her an email right after it. I got it and said, thank you for sending that. I really appreciate everybody's emails, or voicemails when I get them. But I really appreciated that one a lot. So thank you. And it was a great thing to think about your father. And I thought it was very interesting. She was mentioning that it was hard to watch the Andy Griffith Show after he had passed away. because Andy reminded her that much of her father. And wow, what a testament. So thank you very much. Thank you to everybody that called in. I say called, left a voicemail, because I am so sorry that I haven't gotten to some of these because they were older, but I'm glad I got them. I'm glad I found them and was able to use them. And I really do appreciate all of you who took the time to voice your opinions. I would love to hear from the rest of you. I love hearing from you guys. So you can do what they did and go to twochairsnowaiting.com, click on the leave a voicemail. You can record it on your computer. If you noticed how good they sounded, it's because they recorded it with a computer microphone or something. They were close to it. But you can also give me a call at 888-684-8415. I'll tell you that again at the end of the podcast, and you can find it at Two Chairs No Waiting as well. So folks, that was that's it. That's our voicemails. So it is time to head over and try to play a little bit of trivia. I say play trivia. We're not really playing. We're actually just having some fun, and I'm asking questions. And so get your pencil and paper out. And let me get my music going. There's my trivia music. And I'm going to ask you a few trivia questions. Then we'll hear from Returning to Mayberry with SpiritWalker. All right. Question 1. It's an easy one because it's true or false. You ready? All right. So here we go. Andy was a giant at potting geraniums. Andy was a giant at potting geraniums. True or false? True or false? Okay. One more read and I'll give you the answer. If you don't want to know, you just pause. Andy was a giant at potting geraniums. True or false? The answer is it's false. It's false. I'm not going to tell you what he was a giant at because it could be another trivia question. Hold on. Question number 2. Which deputy thought he had the power of ESP? Which deputy thought he had the power of ESP? Which deputy thought he had the power of ESP? All right, that's my last read. So if you don't want to know, you can pause. Unless you're here during the live show, then you're just going to find out the answer. The answer is it was Warren. He's a Warren. Oh, yeah. Look at that mirror over there. See, it's reflecting this table. Oh, he got Floyd. All right. Next question. Number 3. Who said, I do not choose to run? Who said, I do not choose to run? These questions are so hard to read without trying to say them in the voices. All right. Who said, I do not choose to run? Okay. People in the chat room are getting it. All right. Last read. Who said, I do not choose to run? I knew you had to say something or you wouldn't have been president. Calvin Coolidge said that. Calvin Coolidge said that. Oh, and it's hot. Oh, 92. All right, let's see. Andy and Helen were trapped in which cave? Oh, this is a little hard. This is question 4. So I'll give you a multiple choice on this in a minute. Andy and Helen were trapped in which cave? So I'll give you multiple choice. Was it Lover's Cave? No, I'm sorry. Lost Lover's Cave, Kelsey's Cave, Thatcher's Cave, or Lost Indian's Cave? Andy and Helen were trapped in which cave? The answer is A, Lost Lovers. They were in Lost Lovers Cave. That was number 4. How you guys doing? You doing good? All right. So let's see. Number 5. It's another true or false question. Number 5. Number 5. True or false? Opie's 3 wishes all came true. Opie's 3 wishes all came true. True or false? Is that true or false? Final read. Opie's 3 wishes all came true. The answer is, that's true. That is true. All 3 wishes. I just wish you'd go and be my teacher even to, yeah, right? All right. Number 6. Who sent Barney and Goober each a chain letter? Oh, these are good questions. I like these tonight. Who sent Barney and Goober each a chain letter? All right, final read, and I'll give you the answer. Who sent Barney and Goober each a chain letter? The answer is Floyd. Floyd Lawson sent them. Yeah. Oh, did you pass along that letter, Barney? All right. Let's see. That's 6, 7. Number 7. Okay, yeah. We talked about this just a few weeks ago. You got to get this right. I think we did. Where in the house does Andy keep a gun? Where in the house does Andy keep a gun? Where was I talking about this? I was talking about this on something. Where in the house does Andy keep a gun? The answer, pause if you don't want to hear it, but the answer is he keeps it on top of the china cabinet over in the kitchen, or not in the kitchen, the dining area. If you reach up on the top. Yeah, because I was talking about this to somebody, because if you go to the Taylor Home Inn in Wisconsin, TaylorHomeInn.com, and you walk over to the china cabinet and put your hand up there, you'll find a gun up there. Because I did it. I was like, I wonder if, and I just put my hand up there. Yep, there's something up there. I'm assuming it's a toy gun, but it's a gun. All right, anyway, that's where they keep it. All right, number 8. This will be our last question. All right. Who threatened to beat up Barney if he caught him out of his uniform? Okay. This is multiple choice, but I think you guys can get it. Who threatened to beat up Barney if he caught him out of his uniform? Do you remember his name? Oh, come on. Who was it that threatened to beat up Barney if he caught him out of uniform? Folks in the chat room are getting it kind of right, and somebody finally got it. All right, so I'll give you multiple choice and then give you the answer. Was it Scott, Hank, Bob, or Fred that threatened to beat up Barney if you saw him without his uniform? The answer is not Sam the Butcher, because Alan Melvin played that one too, but it was Fred Plummer. Fred, if you just said Fred, you got it. All right, so that's 8 questions. We're going to call it a show, a game for that one, and we will move along. So I hope you guys, how did you do? How did you do on that one? Okay, so I hope you had fun. Those are pretty good questions, I thought. Those were really good. So now we're going to go and hear Returning to Mayberry. I keep wanting to say returning from Mayberry for some reason. Returning to Mayberry from SpiritWalker. We're going to hear from him, and I know you're going to enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed the trivia. Let's head over to see how SpiritWalker's doing.
Won't you turn on the Andy Griffith Show? Forget all your cares and woes. Sit back, relax, and laugh with friendly folks you know. Take up your fishing pole.
Welcome to Returning to Mayberry with special correspondent SpiritWalker from the Andy Griffith Show Esquire Club.
Thanks, Randy. Hello, Mayberry Spirit Watchers. Welcome to the Esquire Club, where we are conducting an experiment where we take a person, place, or thing from Mayberry, we connect it to something outside of Mayberry, connect that to something else, and continue the connections until something returns to Mayberry in 6 degrees or less. We then take that thing that returned to Mayberry, we connect it to something else in Mayberry, and continue the cycle ad infinitum. We call it returning to Mayberry. So, the last thing we had returned in Mayberry was a person, John Quayle. So we're going to start with him and see where we can go from there. John Quayle was born in Canada in 1899. He was an accomplished musician. He played the piano, the flute, and the saxophone. After moving to America, he became a familiar character actor for the first 4 years of talking movies. He quickly became a member of the director John Ford's famed stock company and appeared in 9 John Ford movies alongside John Wayne. His performance in The Grapes of Wrath was so moving, it brought John Ford himself to tears. However, in 1962, in the 17th episode of Season 2 of The Andy Griffith Show, Quayle appeared as the lovable jinx, Henry Bennett. When Barney is convinced that Henry is a jinx, Andy sets out to prove otherwise. He invites Henry to join him and Barney in the same boat to compete for the opening day sweepstakes on the first day of fishing season. Things are looking pretty good when Andy hooks a big fish. However, things quickly go south when the boat begins to sink. Now, the Andy Griffith Show usually filmed the fishing scenes for the show at Upper Franklin Canyon Reservoir in Beverly Hills. This reservoir supplied the drinking water for Beverly Hills, and because of that, there were restrictions on what could be put into the water. Even the outside of the boat had to be treated with chlorine before it could be launched into the lake. Now, Andy and Opie's famous walk at the beginning of each episode, that was also filmed at Upper Franklin Canyon, and even the rocks that Opie was to throw into the water had to be treated with chlorine. In the second episode of Season 1, The Manhunt, the opening scene of Andy and Opie fishing in the boat was shot at Upper Franklin Canyon. However, the close-up shot of the fish being dragged through the water on Opie's line, that was filmed at a small man-made lake on a 40-acre backlot that contained the town of Mayberry. The shot of escaped convict Dirksen rowing Andy's boat across the lake at the end of the episode, that was filmed at Upper Franklin Canyon. However, the shot through the binoculars of Dirksen bailing out of the boat while it sank, that was filmed on the small man-made lake at 40 acres. Hey, if you'd like to hear more interesting information like that about the filming locations and the little behind-the-scenes things that went on in the Andy Griffith Show, look for my new book. It'll be out before Mayberry Days this next September, and I hope to be there for book signings. It'll be a rerun watcher's guide to Season 1. It will give you all kind of information that you won't see anywhere else. I promise. Look for that. I'd appreciate it. This is the man-made lake that Andy, Barney, and Henry sink in the Jinx. As you can see, it was not very deep. Now, before Desilu Studios bought the 40-acre lot, it was owned by RKO. And in the 1940s and 50s, it was home to one of the greatest swingers of all time, Tarzan. This man-made lake was located in the southwest corner of the lot. When Desilu owned it, it was situated across Bologna Creek from the real McCoy's farm, and then later across from Camp Henderson, where Gomer was stationed in the Marine Corps. Before all of that, though, it was home to Tarzan, Jane, Boy, and Cheetah, through about a dozen Tarzan movies, where Olympic gold medalist Johnny Weissmuller played the famed Ape Man. It was also while Maureen O'Sullivan played Jane. And as you recall, Goober said, she sure can swim. But so could Weissmuller. He was the winner of 5 Olympic gold medals in swimming. And he broke the previous world record every time. He also won 67 world championships and 52 national championships for his swimming. While he is remembered for his appearances as Tarzan, he also appeared in his own television series called Jungle Jim. It was one of my favorites when I was a little kid. It was based on his Jungle Jim movies. The series Jungle Jim only ran one season, 26 episodes, from 1955 to 1956, and in the next to the last episode, called Gift of Evil, we get a small glimpse of Mayberry. Playing Mr. Martindale in the episode was none other than Dick Elliott, Mayberry's little fat mare. So the circle is complete. From John Quayle to the man-made lake in Mayberry, from the lake to Johnny Weissmuller as Tarzan, From Tarzan to Jungle Jim. From Jungle Jim to Dick Elliott, and back to Mayberry as Mayor Pike. So there you have it. From Doomsayer to Little Fat Mayor, everything returns to Mayberry. Now, after the last segment, I got a few messages from people out there who wanted to know what's up with the facial decorations. And I have to admit that I am preparing for my very first movie role. It'll be a Western. I'm basically playing an Indian version of Chuck Norris in the film SpiritWalker, Texas Ranger. So I'm looking forward to it. And I just wanted all my fans out there to know that if there's any of you, that is planning to make that movie, I'm prepared. So until next time, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And keep spreading that Mayberry spirit, would you? I thank you. It's so fine to spend some time with all these dear old friends of mine. Have a bottle of pop. Come on, let's watch the Andy Griffith Show.
All right. Thank you, SpiritWalker. Oh, he's funny. He's funny for a SpiritWalker. Oh, yeah, he is, Floyd. That's good. Yeah, so if you want to make sure you're not missing out on some of the fun stuff he's doing, he's got a Facebook group, so you can go to facebook.com/groups/TAGS. That's the Andy Griffith Show. TAGS, and then spell out Esquire Club. ESQUIRE Club. I can't spell Esquire, so I'm reading it. So thank you, SpiritWalker, for that. That was good. And if anybody wants to see him in that movie, make sure that there's a role for a barber in it. So it'll be good. And I'm sure Randy Turner would like a role too. So we'll get him involved. It'll be the Two Chairs movie. Oh, folks, I hope you've had a good time. I did. It's always fun to just spend some time in Mayberry. Now, some people in the chat room were asking about the Taylor Home Inn. Where is it located? It's up in Wisconsin. And if you want to find out information about it, you can go to Taylor Home Inn. And it's spelled INN. But Taylor Home Inn is in Wisconsin, and I've got to update their room rates. They're going up. But if you're a big fan of the Andy Griffith Show, make sure you tell them that you heard it here on the podcast, and they will charge you more. No, I have no idea. But they'll at least know that you're a big fan of the Andy Griffith Show, and they really enjoy folks that are big fans coming to stay with them. And go in there and look at it and reach up over the hutch there in the dining area and see if there's not something up on the top up there. So it's a really fun place. Now you really got to be wanting to go there because it's the only thing around there. So definitely go and check it out. So I think that's about it for me. I really do appreciate everybody being here tonight, and I would love to hear from you guys. You can give me a call at 888-684-8415 or email me at floyd@imayberry.com. Head over to Two Chairs No Waiting, and you can find out even more information. So thanks again, folks, for being here. And I want to thank all of my patrons who support the podcast. You can head over to patreon.com and you can donate to keep the podcast going. And I really do appreciate the folks that do that. Thank you. And folks have also been supporting the podcast using PayPal. There's a link on the Two Chairs No Waiting website to be able to do that as well. So I would love, that's very kind of you if you can do it. But mainly, go out there and spread the Mayberry love, and we'll see you next time right here on Two Chairs. Good night, everybody.